Today we're talking about how to use the INFJ's dark side to gain an unfair advantage in life. And let's first talk about what an unfair advantage is, because in the end, the thing that's really going to make a difference in your life is self-knowledge. I mean, think about it. In the end, everybody deserves happiness, but most people go through life and are not happy. They're not living the life that they want, and the INFJs I meet are not living the INFJ epic life on their terms. But that can change. And very often it really comes down to this unfair advantage that will make the biggest shift. And so understanding how this unfair advantage works can really change up your entire perspective. And it has a lot to do how that sentence actually made you feel. So this thought of, oh, it's an unfair advantage. We're going to get into this. Before we get started, remember to download the poster on the 5 pillars to an INFJ epic life so you can start the process of transformation today. And if you want to take it to the next level, then work with me one-on-one. All the information and how to get the poster you find in the links in the description. So how did it make you feel when you first read this sentence of an unfair advantage? I know it triggered me to some extent, and I know that it has a lot to do with me being an INFJ, because we as INFJs want to be good to others. We want to make sure that we don't have an unfair advantage, that everybody deserves, happiness, and that we don't feel like we're running over other people in order to gain our own happiness. And you know what is keeping us from actually looking at it as a good thing, as saying, yes, I'm going to take this unfair advantage? It's our dark side. Our dark side is the thing that says, I have to put myself first. Because the point is this: you cannot make other people have that advantage. You cannot help people to help themselves. People have to want to change. People have to want to get to a place where their life is going to be different mentally. And the only thing you can do is to find that peace within yourself. To say, I'm going to start fighting for myself. I'm going to respect myself enough so I will make something out of my life. And with that, you're actually giving others the biggest chance ever to emulate that. So what does that have to do with your dark side? Well, the INFJ very often doesn't integrate their dark side because it has everything to do with being selfish. It has everything to do with being honest with ourselves, how cold-hearted we can actually be. See, the way the INFJ is set up, we are introverts, meaning our introverted functions are the functions that are most in alignment with who we are. And what are they? They are NI and they're TI. There's no FE there, there's no FI there. I'm not saying we're not experiencing those things, particularly like FI. If you look into socionics, you will recognize all of it, right? We have access to all functions, of course, but think about it. Haven't you been in many situations where you felt others got really emotional when it came down to it? People got scared, people got worried, people really thought, oh, I need to protect myself. And we actually got pretty rational. If you look at it from that perspective, deep down, we are really all NI, meaning we can be without judgment, we can be without emotion, and without feeling something that is going to hinder us in making the right decision. And how do most INFJs feel about this? They're completely ashamed of it. I know I was. I thought that this is the thing that makes me the most unlovable. I thought that would be the reason why people would abandon me. And if you look at other INFJs, that you see maybe online, because I know it's hard to, interact with INFJs in real life because there aren't so many of us. But if you think of yourself, if you think of other INFJs around you, what are INFJs very known for? They're known for overextending themselves. They're known for putting themselves last and making others shine. They're known to be martyrs. So why does that happen? Think about it. We're doing this in order to compensate the fact that deep down we can be really cold, we can be really rational, and we can really think of what is best for us. I mean, think about it. Isn't the goal that we get loved for who we actually are? And this is not an INFJ thing. This is like an overall thing. This is like one of the biggest goals of self-discovery, loving yourself, connecting with people on an authentic level, that we learn that we are enough. All of us. We are enough the way we are with all our qualities. The positive ones, the negative ones, the selfish ones, the ones that are all about other people, and so on and so forth. So if that is the case, and we would completely accept ourselves, then we would also be okay with other people knowing this selfish streak of ours or this cold-hearted part of ours. But are we comfortable with that? Most of the time we're not. That's why we overextend ourselves. That's why we feel like I have to be always nice. I have to always be in a position where no one could ever say, oh, that person is selfish, or that person only thinks of themselves. What a self-absorbed person. These are some of the biggest fears the INFJ faces. So how do we actually deal with that? Well, we understand that in order to love ourselves, we have to love ourselves with all our qualities. And that's one of them. And it doesn't have to be a negative one. Because the point is this, if you're able to have this, let's say, cold core, you're able to make rational decisions. And rational decisions can lead to making a win-win situation for everybody. I mean, think of all of those people that are very emotional, that you try to protect throughout your life, that you thought, okay, they have such a warm core. They are all about emotions. They're so sensitive, and I'm actually so hard, and I have this dark side about me that I want to hide that very often comes out when we door slam, by the way. So, what happens? You try to protect that person, you try to lift them up until you recognize that they never cherished this to begin with. And at some point, you snap. And how do those people react most of the time? They react in an irrational way. They act in a hurtful way. They act in a way that isn't kind towards you. Very emotional people have a hard time making rational, kind decision when it comes down to it, because then you cannot control your emotions and they come out somehow. So it's about time that we look at our dark side as a good thing and not saying this is better than any other type or any other person. But the truth is this, you see life from your perspective. You are creating your life starting with you. Whatever is going on around you, whoever's in your life, these are supporting roles in your movie. In your movie, you are the lead character. You're the one who creates all of this, and you're not taking anything away from anybody. You're using your unfair advantage of self-knowledge and of allowing yourself to integrate that dark side to make the best out of your life. And with that, you're not taking anything away from anybody. Because how people react to that they might feel like, oh, my life is so bad because I'm not experiencing everything the way, this particular INFJ is experiencing, that's on them. You cannot control how people feel about you existing. So often we try to hide our true nature because we're so worried about how that might affect others. What we completely forget in that aspect is that we owe it to ourselves. We owe it to creation to allow ourselves to be everything that we can be. I mean, look at what kind of insult it is to yourself to say, I don't allow myself to be fully myself. I don't allow myself to tap into these dark areas, these dark sides of mine, which can give me a lot of strength, which can make me take steps that others may not want to take. That will change my life for the better. That will allow me to move forward in life. I'm not accepting of this. How can that ever be right? You are a gift to society. And I'm not saying you as an INFJ are a bigger gift than anybody else. It's just that we all have something to offer. And it really comes from our most authentic selves. And if we are not there to cherish who we are, how can we ever really cherish life? We're part of it. So we have to embrace it. And the good thing is once you start embracing this dark side, which really starts with, first off, acceptance, understanding that this is also part of you and that you first accept and then start loving yourself, including those, let's say, cold parts of yours, selfish parts of yours, being able to be very rational in certain situations. That is part of what makes you you, and that gives you strength. And instead of looking at it as something that makes you unlovable because it will scare other people, look at everything it can do for you and for others. When I went through this process, when it really hit me, I wasn't really able to integrate it in the most loving way I could. For me, it really meant looking at the situation, looking at my life and saying, okay, if I allow myself to be this way, if I allow myself to step out of the norm, to do the things that I can do because of my dark side, when I allow myself to integrate that and go against the norm, not care what other people think, step into the bigger version of myself and create my INFJ epic life, you know what's going to happen? Nobody's going to like me. Everybody's going to abandon me, and nobody's ever going to love me again. That's what I felt. But I also knew that I had no other choice, because I had to finally start loving myself. I could not bear anymore to keep myself so tightly hidden. And I guarantee you, if you make it a point that you say you deserve to have the best life possible just as everybody else, and it's on you to make that happen. It's not on you to hold this back so other people don't feel bad about them not taking steps. You're going to make the biggest shift ever in your life. So I'm telling you, integrating this dark side, integrating those rational parts of yours, being willing to look at it as a wonderful thing, as a strength that can help you and others, is the best way forward. And yes, it will give you an unfair advantage at life. Remember, if you want some more guidelines on how to push yourself towards your INFJ epic life, then download the free poster. And if you want to take it to the next level, then work with me 101. All the information you find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video, Why People Are Secretly Scared of the INFJ.